a good session with my therapist today. Learning about communication in tough situations. And I grew up in an environment where there wasn't a lot of communication, and it certainly wasn't like mature or fruitful or productive communication. And the communication very often went like, you either do what I want you to do, or there'll be consequences, and there's really not a lot of discussion. And so I've taken that approach with me into life, and it doesn't really work that well. There are instances where it does work, but they're few and far between. And it's good to have other options. So I guess what I'll say is that approach is a good tool to have, because there are times when you need that, but it's like 1% of the time. But when you need that approach, it's good to have. Like when that 1% occurs, you need that approach, because nothing else will do in that 1% of the time. So it is a good tool. That being said, it's not a good tool in the other 99% of the time. And, unfortunately, certain people only have that one tool, and so, things happen. But it's good to be exploring a situation, for me, where my initial kind of response, for lack of knowing what else to do, is to go with that 1% response. But just seeing over time how it doesn't work. It's not productive. It's not a true reflection of where I am. And it's exhausting. So I'm just learning to be more patient with myself and to feel my way through situations, and really like take the time in every moment to kind of figure out authentically what's happening for me, and to communicate that and to reflect that in my behavior, which produces way different results, because it results in completely different actions. So that's been very gratifying and a little scary, because I'm letting go of a way of being that I was taught, and not just by my parents, just like by the times that I grew up in, and the society around me. Like I was taught, like, this is how you have to behave to get results. And the people who taught me that really believed that. But and maybe in their times that was more true. But we live in different times, and it's not as true as it used to be, if it ever was true. So it's good to be exploring different ways of being. I was saying that on a coaching call recently. I was talking to the client, And I was saying, it's not really about what to do, it's about how to be. And that's a lot. A lot of times in life when we don't know how to act, we ask ourselves, what do I do? We cast about for an answer to the question, what do I do? But a better question very often is, how should I be? Right? Like, what's the energy? What's the attitude? What's the approach? What's the mental and emotional, like mindset or, just posture that I should take that's going to reflect most closely my authentic self and be the most productive in this situation. And then that way of being will naturally produce the do. If you can lock in on how to be, then figuring out what to do becomes easy, because the how to be, tells you what to do. But you gotta get into the how to be first.